Hi, I'm Nata Matluch. This is a making of for my film of time. I can't really speak nicely on camera, but I'll add captions. There will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the film yet, the link is in the description. So, how do I start making a film? I'm not really interested in stories, especially with a three-act structure. What I like is visualizing concepts through small situations. So I wanted to make a film about time. I sketched as many ideas and associations as I could. There was a light clock, a black hole where time ends, a woman in a rush, time feeling infinite in childhood and compressed in old age, a 4,000-year-old tree, people live in time but die in space, and so on. Then I thought about what types of time exist: frozen, slow, reversed, slow motion, time lapse. At this point, I didn't have any concrete ideas. The only thing I knew for sure was that the main character's name would be Tim. To build the plot, I wrote an abstract structure of the story first, then rearranged its parts. The story was like this: Tim lives a normal life, things get worse, time breaks. He tries to survive in broken time. Bad things in broken time. Good things in broken time. And ambiguous ending. The plot starts in the middle. Some action leads to an absurd moment that shows something is wrong with time. Then we rewind to the beginning and show the story as planned. The absurd moment was the sandwich scene. Tim can't eat because time keeps jumping 5 minutes back. Then I started branching out from this idea. He can't eat his sandwich because of broken time? Okay, so what if he can't have breakfast during the entire film? Let his oatmeal run and his toast burn, and only at the very end he finally gets normal toast with tea. What kind of job does he have? He lives alone, always busy, constantly distracted by notifications, so let him be a freelance data engineer. All those squares coming out of his laptop are raw data he has to manage and reorganize. In between Tim's scenes, I added shots of other characters and their relationship to time. Kids and animals live in slow time. That's why they seem fast to us. In reality, they are not. Time is just relative to each observer. Older people live in fast time. They seem slow to us, but their pace is normal. Tim experienced that when he ended up in their fast time. In parallel with the short ideas, I was working on the visual style: pencil strokes, rough lines, incomplete backgrounds. It came out cleaner than I wanted, but that's okay. Then I had to come up with a title. I wanted On Time, but there are already several films with that name. I really struggled with this. Eventually, I reversed On Time and got Off Time. Tim really was off time, so it made sense. Once I had the structure, some solid ideas, style frames, and the main character, I came across information about a new animation festival in Hiroshima, Japan. They had a call for artists in residence for animated film development. I had never applied for grants or residencies before. I always did everything myself except sound. But I love Japan and I already had all the materials ready. I applied. I was really excited and surprised when they selected my project. The residency itself was more focused on interaction between the artists and local students and people interested in animation. We gave masterclasses, workshops, and talks showing our work. Film production was secondary to all of that. Each of my films has a different visual style and a different production approach. For Off Time, I decided not to make an animatic. That was a mistake. It cost me several extra months of production because I kept re-editing the sequences of shots. So I only had the rough storyboard and I animated scenes one by one based on it. I don't recommend doing that. I kept adding more ideas about what can go wrong in broken time. A couch can crash you in sped up time. You can get hit by a bike in reverse time. You can't shower in frozen time. And you can't watch a movie in time lapse. But there are good things too. In slow time, you can finally relax with a book and tea, enjoy art without pushing through crowds, play around in loop time, finally finish all your tasks and clean the apartment, and just enjoy slow life. There are a few visual metaphors in the film. Tim's multitasking is shown as trying to catch several rabbits at once and catching none. When he feels broken in the morning, runs like crazy to the kitchen, or gets completely stuck. Some of my favorite absurd moments are when the old lady deflates and becomes tiny, the fourth wall break when time freezes and the camera can't track Tim anymore, so he has to rotate it himself. The shaving scene in slow time where his reflection can't keep up with him. The moment when time breaks because of a dropped egg. And when the dinosaurs go extinct because Tim sneezes. For locations, I usually pick a real place to keep the references cohesive. Here it was Oslo, Norway. Tim spends a lot of time in his apartment, so it had to feel minimalistic. I also made a model of the apartment to keep everything consistent and understand where all the objects were. I used Blender for some complicated scenes. The squirrel running around the tree or Tim wiping water into the drain. I also made a 3D sketch of Tim's head but didn't use it. I like when characters go slightly off model and imperfect. For animation, I usually record videos of myself as a reference. It's not about copying the movement exactly, it's more that when you act something out, you notice things you would never think of sitting at a desk. Small things like how your weight shifts before you actually move, or how your hand does something slightly unexpected. Those details are hard to invent and even harder to notice when you are just imagining movement in your head. But it's important to start from something real. The last stage was sound. Maxim Andruch is a Ukrainian composer who did all the music and sound design. I worked with him on other projects before and can really recommend him. The main theme especially fits the mood of the final sequence. It took me 3 years to make this film. 10 minutes 45 seconds. Probably too long. I think all short films longer than 5 minutes are too long. The film had a good festival run over the last 2 years. It received 8 awards, 1 bag of Japanese premium chocolate, and I got to see it once on a big screen in Hokkaido at the New Chitose Airport Festival. And hopefully, this August, I'll be back in Hiroshima, where Off Time is in the competition program. That would be a nice full circle. The film was born in Hiroshima, and maybe that's where it ends its festival run too. What's next? Right now, I'm working on a new film called I Think Therefore, about a world that can't prove its own existence. And this time, I do have an animatic. Thank you for watching. This is the longest video I ever made. Bye.